What's up, guys? Got the VRF14 here. I thought I would talk about this gun as I've had it for a while now and put several hundred shells through this trying to see if I could make it work. A lot of you guys wanted me to get this and run it to see if it was a good candidate for a cheek 12 gauge. Shooting this a decent amount now, I think this is the best setup for the gun. A more forward mounted, lower 1/3 height optic is the sweet spot for me. I'm fine with running that here to all the way up to the front. Anywhere along there would be fine. It's nice that they have the pick sections at the 9 and 3 o'clock. Good spots. It's not too high. It's not too low. Both are good spots for hand stops. I see, you can see I have a hand stop mounted on the gun for left-handed shooting, as well as my TLR7 that I use as a hand stop also on the primary or dominant side. Set up in this configuration, it shoots pretty well from the cheek. It's actually a really manageable gun to shoot with the ergonomics that's there. All of the AR handling characteristics, so AR cheek pistol handling characteristics are there. And with a nice, relatively flat cheek rest here, it's doable. Form factor is decent. It's not too heavy of a gun, maybe just a slightly heavier than something like a Mossberg Shockwave. Handling wise, the controls are okay. They're just AR controls. With this being nice and short and also in an AR design with sort of a buffer tube-esque kind of thing going on here, it's a nice spot for the cheek to sit, which shortens the overall presentation when you compare it to cheeking a Mossberg Shockwave or similar 26-inch shotgun, 26-inch firearm, whatever you want to call it. And things that are noticeably different about the handling characteristics on this can be shot from more confined spaces than the Shockwaves. If I want to push a residential door, I can mount this on the cheek, avert the muzzle, and I can flow into that room through that door with minimal effort. It takes more effort to do so with the Shockwave. It does, because we're not here, we're here, right here, because I would have to be grabbing the gun at the rearmost point on the bird's head grip. It still has all the problems of pistol grip shotguns where you eat more recoil in a painful way with the angling of the wrist. It's not terrible in a semi-auto design, but it hurt my wrist. You know, it wasn't pleasant to put all those couple hundred shells through it. With the controls actually set up for a pistol grip, like AR style safety selector, there's far less issues there. Like a Mossberg style safety on a pistol grip gun, awful. Even the crossbolt safety, like Remington style crossbolt or the 1301 style like forward crossbolt safety with a true pistol grip, less than awesome. But this works well. They designed it like it's an AR, and we know ARs work well as cheek pistols. So yeah, this does too. Now, that's about all the positive stuff I have to say about this gun. Here's the list of cons. So we'll start with the minor gripes and we'll work into the nasty. One minor gripe here. This is a perfect cheek rest, but it's a little short. I don't want this longer. I want more room to slide my cheek here. So it'd be great if we could delete these last, 1, 2, 3, 4 pick rail sections and just have a locking device to hold in the handguard, which goes over the upper receiver. The downside to how this is a nice set of sharp rails right where your cheek would be sliding. If you don't have good control over the gun, if you don't have a good handle on the cheek technique, this is absolutely going to slide rearward enough to cut your cheek with the end of the pick rail on the gun. What I ended up doing before I even shot this is I filled in the sharp bits with shoe goo, just because I didn't want the first shot to draw blood on me. After shooting it, I realized the way that I have a handle on this technique and can exercise good control, good recoil mitigation, I never had this actually contact my cheek. It was just fine. But I know that others who are not as comfortable with the technique as I am and maybe not as strong as I am are going to have this gun drift rearward and recoil enough to cut them if they're cheeking it. So not great there. They could have, they could have designed this to be fired from the cheek and got rid of this, and it'd be actually pretty cool. Another gripe is that the controls are weird, just like they are on all of the Turkish gas-operated shotgun designs. There's weird things where the bolt will lock back sometimes, the safety has to be disengaged to do it sometimes the safety doesn't want to be moved at all from safe to fire or fire to safe, depending on the configuration of the gun. I don't know if that's specific to just the one that I got, but I assume that it's across all of these guns because all of the Turkish guns have these weird quirks about them. And this is a Turkish design. The other weird one, they have a bolt release paddle like you have on an AR, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it just locks in place to where I can press that as hard as I can. It won't disengage. A lot of you will say, well, it's because the mag is in, and sometimes that's true, and sometimes it's not true. You have to really bash on that thing. That's not ideal. I want my controls to work without having to strike the gun like I'm trying to injure a person. But again, it's another one of those quirks with where this gun was designed and I think manufactured. That is the end of the small gripes. Here's the biggest one that makes this gun a no-go for me. This gun is not reliable. Here we go. Well, even on slugs, 3 rounds in, and it's stalling. Okay, it locked back. The manufacturer says that you're supposed to break in the VRF14 using heavier recoil loads. I did that. I put an embarrassing amount of slugs through this gun, like high recoil, not friendly, 1600 FPS 1-ounce slugs through this. And that didn't break it in. I dry racked the crap out of this gun, like, I don't know, hundreds of cyclings of the action, lubricated it. If it ain't broken in now, I just don't think that we're going to break it in any further. Okay, so here are the last 3 slugs that I have on hand. You can see there's a blue hole in there. The last 2 in this, so one is just the same Federal standard velocity rifled slug that I shot the 5 before. The 2 below it are the Federal law enforcement slugs, reduced recoil. So again, I don't know if that's enough to cycle this reliably because even the big boys, we didn't get through a full mag. But let's try these last 3, see if it feeds on the low recoil slugs. It fed that time from the mag. Yeah, all right. I mean, there it is. But even with all of that, this still would rarely get through a full mag of any load that I fed it. I had tried multiple 2 3/4 inch loads of birdshot. I know that's probably not going to run in this, and it didn't. I tried some 3-inch birdshot, didn't run. Like extraction issues, ejection issues, feeding issues, all bunch of different kinds of feeding issues. Sometimes it would miss the round, sometimes it would bind up the next shell in the magazine, sometimes it would just bang the round into the feed ramp, which is just almost like straight up, and it would deform the shell so bad that it had no hope of being fed the next time. Other issues. I've said it before, and the reason why I said that I don't want to review these style of guns is because box-fed 12 gauge is an engineering nightmare. The gun is designed to take 2 3/4 and 3-inch shells, but really it's designed for 3-inch shells. The magazine is designed for 3-inch shells. If you load 2 3/4 inch shells in here, under recoil, you're going to get that whole stack of rounds slipping forward. It's not going to feed ideally. Even if this were designed only for 3-inch shells or only for 2 3/4 inch shells, you have the problem of widely varying ammo. All shotgun shells are just a little bit different. You can take lots of the same brand of ammo, same loading of ammo, and they're going to vary in overall length slightly. That's just the way that shotgun presses work when they're doing the end crimp stages. There's slight deviations there. Another problem, box-fed magazines put a lot of pinch, a lot of squeezing energy against shot shells and their plastic hulls. Those plastic hulls will deform. They will no longer be round if you leave these magazines loaded for a long time, or you load them and expose them to varying temperatures, or if you just don't have really thick stock, like highest quality out there shells, which is, I mean, I don't know any manufacturer that had one that didn't deform the shell in this. Sometimes they fed, and that means that the violence of the action here was enough to smash the slightly oval shape into the round hole. But the longer you leave these mags loaded, the more likely you are to get more oval-shaped shells. And those won't feed. And I saw a whole bunch of those failures in testing this. I think in the several hundred shells that I put through this gun, less than 5 magazines that ran without a hiccup. So that tells you everything you need to know. I don't know that you can fix those things, guys, because the upward pressure of this magazine, the spring in this magazine, needs to be that strong to force these shells up to feed. So yeah, you need that upward energy. That creates a lot of binding action on the bolt, so where the bolt is having to override a shell pressed up against it when it cycles. On and on and on, engineering flaws everywhere in box-fed shotguns. So, yeah. I know someone's going to recommend it in the comments. Some of you have already mentioned it about the Origin 12 being basically the big brother that actually is supposed to be awesome and run well. Maybe, guys. And if Origin wants to send me one out, I'd be happy to run it, but I am not going to come out of pocket $3,500 to try and test something which just engineering says shouldn't work great. But you know what? I really do hope that those guys have cracked the code on box-fed 12 gauge. I just can't see it, guys. Maybe it runs well. You know, maybe it runs exactly like the YouTube videos show, where every single use of that gun is flawless and it cycles with 100% reliability. But I also wonder, what if you loaded those mags and set them in the sun for a day? I don't think any of those shot shells are going to hold up to that. They're going to deform, and I don't. It's got to be a very hard cycling, robust action to strip that out and then reform the shell while it's chambering the shell. So yeah, you're using your chamber as a resizing die at the same time. Meh. Anyways, there it is, guys. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all the buttons for YouTube and help me grow the channel. And also go to the link in the description, Patreon link, sign up there, all access level, sign up there and send me a message, DM me, and let's chat. I get most of my recommendations for what I'm going to do and how I'm going to direct the channel from my patrons. And I appreciate you guys for throwing the ideas out there and all of the cool conversations we've had. I don't answer all of the emails and all of the comments that I get on videos, but I will always respond in length to any of my patrons. I really appreciate you guys. You guys keep the lights on for me. You keep my family fed. So thank you for helping me with that. That's it for the VRF14. You won't see any more videos on this. This was a very frustrating test to get through what feels like hundreds of malfunctions that I had to deal with in trying to give this a fair shake. Yeah, guys, I'm going to leave you with a reminder to keep training and stay safe.